A big thing I'm passionate on is about getting younger people, so whether into apprentices and getting them the experience on the projects. So taking people from the local community who are trying to get their foot on the job ladder
Mhm.
and giving them the opportunity to do that, but working with our suppliers to see actually what are they doing and what opportunities are they giving people as well. We've
Mm,
had some great projects where we've had one or two apprentices on it, and I think we should grow that even more
mm.
because that's in my mind, to giving back to getting the people that are maybe struggling in school but are very good technically or have the capabilities to be an electrician, a mechanic, or anything like that, giving them the opportunity to get involved in projects.
Hello and welcome to Navigating ESG in Facilities and the Workplace. My name is Darren Pardy and I'm delighted to be joined by Conrad Dinsmore, who is a head of projects at CBRE. Conrad, how are you doing?
Hi, Darren. Doing good, thanks.
Thanks for joining us today. So before we get involved in the ESG questions, I've just got 5 quick fire questions to go through about what is your favourite film?
Armageddon.
Good choice. Favourite song?
Oh, changes by the week.
Right, okay. Any that are in your head at the moment you think I like that?
Actually, not. No, I'm terrible at it. Kenny Rogers, The Gambler.
I was listening to that the other day, actually. I love that song. Favorite band or artist?
Picture this.
Okay, cool. Favorite place to go in the world can be anywhere or it can be local.
Back to Ireland.
Back to Ireland, nice touch. And do you have pineapple on your pizza?
Definitely not.
No, absolutely brilliant. I think we'll get on then. Cool. So I saw you at the facility show recently. I thought it was great, really interesting talk. And you've actually had quite an interesting career. How did you get involved in facilities management?
I was quite the anomaly in that I chose it as a career of choice. My dad, or it all started with my dad, who in Ireland has an FM business. So I kind of grew up within it. And once I completed school, university, picked my career or my qualifications around entering FM, decided to move across to London to sort of challenge myself in new areas. Started as a graduate in a graduate program and I've just built it up from there. It's been something I'm hugely passionate about and keen in, not just the project side, but the whole area around FM in itself that I think we are one of, if not the most important part of a building, and keen to always pursue and progress that.
Indeed, and you've also been getting involved in the IWFM, certainly the Rising Star side of things. Could you give me a little bit of background about that, please?
Yes, so when I was in university, I joined what was then the BAFM at the time, and the
Mhm.
reason for that was doing my dissertation in FM. Being a member meant I was able to get the good practice guides, the white papers that the industry produced. When I moved across, then continued my membership, and a year and a half into living here, was successful in winning the Newcomer of the Year award for BAFM. So after that, I then joined the Rising FMs to just try and push the passion that I've got to new people entering the industry and show that support. And I've been now with them 5.5, 6 years. And as the years have gone on and as I've got more experience, I've got more involved in IWFM and sort of have an opinion about things and getting involved in how we grow and sell the industry as a career of choice, as opposed to people saying I fell into it.
Yeah, awesome. That sounds great. And I've actually interviewed a few people that, from a sustainable background or social value background or from procurement, and it's interesting to get different perspectives on ESG, and I suppose their role within ESG, whether it's just sustainability, social value, diversity, whatever. Now, obviously, from a project's point of view, you deliver or you're involved in helping deliver projects as a head of projects. Um, what thought goes into ESG when delivering a project? And has that changed over the years, even in recent years, with maybe more of an emphasis on ESG?
If I think back to maybe 4 or 5 years ago, every project that was done that was around the energy sphere, it was what's my return on investment. That's all that mattered. Now, when we have the conversation with customers, it's what's my carbon reduction? What's my
mm,
impact on the environment? Where are you procuring your products and these materials from? With the waste that's coming out of office spaces, what are we doing with it? So there is a high emphasis on it now, and
mhm,
also the contractors that we use. So not only is what is CBRE's ESG agenda, but what is the agenda of the contractors you're using, and making sure that that flows down. So now, yes, cost is always a conversation when it comes to a project, but it's actually all of the additional benefits that we bring as well. So it
mm.
is something that is, a third of our proposal, if not more.
Right. Okay. And I think in certain circumstances, providing a more sustainable solution or adding to the local community or whatever doesn't necessarily add to the cost. But in occasions where there are solutions that maybe cost a bit more, do you think clients are prepared to engage with those solutions?
Yeah, a lot of them are now. We're quite mature in our conversations with them, in that yes, we can procure a cheaper product that is manufactured and shipped across from Asia Pacific, or we can procure something that is more expensive, but it's manufactured, built in the UK. It's transported in electric vehicles, less packaging, less wrapping, less impact on the environment. We can look at scope one, two, and three
Hmm.
from a net zero perspective, and we can show them that picture. And I think having that approach with them allows customers to make an educated decision on it as well, which is helpful. It's not just we think this is the best option, you have to go for it. It's here's the information to allow you to understand what the impact is depending on what route you want to take.
Okay. And um, I'm assuming meaningful data sort of at the end of a project is important to supply clients. How easy is that getting from your supply chain?
A lot of the supply chain's getting a lot better at it. And I think if it take the biggest piece of data that we try to capture is the waste that comes out of a project. So
Yeah.
one, we try to make sure actually we don't need the waste. We've had some projects where the likes of lighting, we've had lights sent to a project. The cardboard that they were in was then taken back to the factory and reused for the next
Right.
set,
Okay.
and that went through the entire life of a project. So when you're talking 9,000 fittings, there's a
Yeah.
significant saving within cardboard
Huge.
there. But we've suppliers now that are showing us that, and they're saying, yeah, we're only delivering what's needed. So if it's building materials, we're not over delivering and having a lot
Mhm.
of waste that's there. So we are being mature in that we're saying, okay, let's eradicate what we don't need at the beginning.
Yeah.
And then what we are using as waste, can we recycle it? Can we renew it? If it's the likes of office furniture that we're taking out, actually, where can that go to? There's
Mhm.
some fantastic social value businesses out there that are able to take that furniture to third world countries, or to upcycle it and do great things with it. So
Yep.
the supply chain is probably the mature part of it, and they're
Mhm.
telling us what they can do and how we go about doing that. And what's great with CBRE is we're able to facilitate that then with the customers, and at the end of every project, tell them what the end output was.
Yeah, and I've actually been to some recent supply events for CBRE. One was about diverse supply chain. Another one was about ESG for clients and for suppliers, and you can really see that CBRE are pushing that
Yeah,
those sustainable and social value options, and diversity and whatnot. No, so that sounds great.
yeah. And I
Uh,
think what CBRE are pushing on as well, which is great, is that large corporations like to have maybe a smaller supply chain that can do national anywhere.
mm,
We're now looking at, actually, if we look at where our client base is, do we have any suppliers that are traveling from one end of the country to the other to deliver a service? Because that's just not ethical. So it's
mm.
about getting then a supply chain that is local and saying, yes, anyone that comes to this site is traveling 20, 30 miles max. And we can then start to picture and put that out to customers then so they see the benefit.
Yep, fantastic. And how do you think FM companies are impacting businesses and communities from an ESG point of view?
Bigger than what's being marketed. When we think of any building, the majority of products and output from it is managed by FM. businesses,
Mm.
and they have that power in what they choose to spend and how they spend it. And a
Mhm.
lot of the companies now, and we see whether it's in Facilitate Magazine and LinkedIn or the various platforms of what they're doing, and they're at the forefront of it. Most companies outside of FM speak of sustainable spend, but we're actually the ones getting the sustainable products, the sustainable end picture. And I think we're doing a lot more for that. And then from a social value side, the amount of businesses now that we're seeing that maybe didn't recognize that they were a social value business to begin with,
Mhm.
that now the FN companies are helping them recognize that and helping them get the classification as a social enterprise. So I think we are at the forefront of it, and we are helping companies sort of raise the profile in doing that. So I do believe our industry is the forward thinking one of it.
Yeah, I mean, the FM industry employs so many people as well. Has such a big impact on the economy, really, and local communities, and providing just food on the table for families in those communities as well. But a recent event I went to, there's a chap called Martin Pickard who said that the FM industry employ in the region of about 3 million people, and the sort of family members associated to that were in the region of about sort of 10 million. So it definitely has a huge impact. Um, I mean, during some of the projects that you've been involved in, if there was one thing that you could kind of improve to support ESG that's not already being improved, like for example, you mentioned the lighting there with the reuse of the packaging, what would it be?
A big thing I'm passionate on is about getting younger people, so whether into apprentices and getting them the experience on the projects. So taking people from the local community who are trying to get their foot on the job ladder
Hmm.
and giving them the opportunity to do that, but working with our suppliers to see actually what are they doing and what opportunities are they giving people as well. We've
Mm,
had some great projects where we've had one or two apprentices on it, and I think we should grow that even more,
mm.
because that's in my mind to giving back to getting the people that are maybe struggling in school but are very good technically or have the capabilities to be an electrician, a mechanic, or anything like that, giving them the opportunity to get involved in projects.
Yeah, fantastic. And what big changes do you think will happen over the next few years within FM to support ESG further?
Great question. I remember 5, 6 years ago being asked, what changes do I think I'll see in FM over the next
Mm,
5 or 6 years? And
yeah.
yeah, it's not as far as what I thought, but I think we are going to continue to lead it. And as the FM industry grows as a career of choice, and I think with the likes of COVID, where we're now at the top table in organizations,
Mm,
we will be the ones that people will look at to say, we need to come to you for the support with us. But I do think we'll start to see more mandates being put on, more companies given KPIs and targets to hit for our spend, for the products that we use, for our talent pool and the various things. So where now it's a kind of nice to have, and people are really trying to make a difference. I do feel it's going to become more mandated that you have to do it. And as competition gets tighter, people will put more effort into doing that. So we'll see a natural increase in the development of it.
fantastic. Conrad, that's all of my questions. Is there anything else you wanted to add?
No, I've actually no questions for once, which isn't like me because normally I like to talk on a lot more than usual.
No, it's been really interesting, and I appreciate you coming onto the podcast and giving us your views. Um, this will be going live within the next week or so, but really appreciate your time on that, Conrad, and speak soon.
Thanks for
Take
having
care.
me, Darren.
See you then.